Hi, I'm Art Kaplan at the Division of Medical Ethics at NYU's Grossman School of Medicine. I recently had the opportunity to testify in a trial. It was in a rural state, and it involved a doctor who had been taking care of a number of women patients as their OBGYN probably 25 years ago. What had happened was the two women, just for fun, had signed up for one of the genetic testing company tests, the 23andMe ancestry type tests, and a name kept popping up as being a relative of theirs. And it turned out that name was the doctor they were seeing. And it turned out that many years ago, he had been involved in sperm donation. He had told the women that he was going to use an anonymous donor, a medical student who looked like the husbands of these women, that he was going to match them for traits. In fact, duplicitously, he used himself. He didn't match for traits. He didn't look like the husbands of these women. And he not only used his own sperm to make them, but they weren't even aware that until the genetic testing popped up that they were related or that their offspring might wind up getting married to one another. They had no idea that he had lied to them. So we see these cases pop up. One occurred in Colorado, and I think finally the legislature in Colorado has had enough of this, and they just passed a law that says there will be no anonymity for anyone who donates sperm. Longstanding practice in healthcare has been, if you're a sperm donor, you can say, I want to do that, but I want my identity kept secret. Normally, you get a small amount of money in payment, but you're always historically have been given the promise that if you participate, say, as a med student, no one's going to know. That principle of anonymity has been under constant attack in the adoption area. Many children have said, I need to know who my biological parents are, partly because psychologically, emotionally, that matters to me. Also, for health reasons, I would like to know if I'm at risk of any diseases that I wasn't aware of. And in every state, court after court has said those are important enough reasons to break down contracts about anonymity with respect to adoption, with respect to who the mother might have been, or the father, or both. And many people have found out who their adoptive parents were. Some have reached out to them, not always received happily. Some have reached out to them and gotten a great reaction, welcoming, very emotional bonding taking place. The responses seem to me to be all over the place. Well, that's going to become the world of sperm donation. People are going to be able to go to court and say, if you have records at that sperm clinic, I want to know who my sperm donor was. Most clinics do keep records. They could trace back who it was that made the donation, how many times the sample was used, and ultimately, if the offspring pushes hard enough, they're going to win the suit to get information that is important to them about emotion or health. I don't think it's going to work, and certainly not going to work anymore in Colorado, where they've now said anonymity is out the window to protect your identity. I think Colorado also acted wisely in limiting the number of times you can use a sperm donor. In a rural state, small state, you could actually have somebody using the same sperm donor 50, 60, 100 times. And that could lead to accidental incest, other health issues, other emotional issues. So you don't want to have unlimited use of the same sperm donor, even if that's somebody who people want to choose because of their appearance or achievement or whatever reason they might have for going back again and again to a particular donor. Also, it's very important to standardize screening criteria, making sure that there is a list of what genetic testing can reveal, and then sharing that with the couple who want to use a sperm donor so they can decide whether or not they want to take a risk factor for Fragile X or any other genetic condition that might be out there. So the days of anonymity are fast leaving us. I think other states will imitate Colorado. I'm not opposed to that, but it may have a chilling effect on who's willing to become a sperm donor. It used to be you could get volunteers literally out of the medical student pool, maybe out of the college or university pool nearby. Now you should have to tell them, we can't guarantee your anonymity. Some of them are going to be thinking, I don't want to visit 20 years from now. I don't want somebody holding me accountable for expenses or costs or monetary debts that they say I have to help with because I'm their biological parent. So we could see sperm donation as an area where we start to see shortages because anonymity is not going to exist anymore. It's a tough trade-off. It's one I support, but we're going to have to think harder about what we can do to make sure that couples who want to use sperm donation don't just go on the private side of things, find their own donors, don't screen them, don't warn them, don't consent them, and then use them as their sperm donors, staying away from the clinics where they could get safer, screened gametes. So let me be clear. The Colorado law is forward-looking. It's not really something you could use to do something about a doctor who deceived patients 25 years ago. What they're saying is, starting a few years from now, anonymity is going to be abolished. So whatever has happened in the past, that's probably going to be litigated in court. But going forward, I think other states will probably follow Colorado's lead. I'm Art Kaplan at the NYU School of Medicine, Division of Medical Ethics. Thanks for watching.